Be so easy. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Top 4. Dum, bum, bum. With me, as always, some of my very best friends talking about something very, very stupid this week, but I think it can be a lot of fun. Musical acts that have shown up in comic books. There have been a lot of real ones, and there have been, of course, a ton of fake ones. There are some superheroes who are themselves in musical groups. Some of them are actually quite popular. With one of our good friends, the producer, I'm sure, can put in an honorable mention for her at the end. But who wants to go first with?
I'll go first.
You're going to go first, Tommy? Tommy's
Yeah.
going to go first. Who do
Because
you
I'm going
think
to
is one of
steal
the
it from
best?
everyone else.
Was
Sex
that
Bomb.
Sex Bomb? Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll take that. That's a manga. But, of course, it is a comic
Scott
book.
Pilgrim.
And a terrific comic book. I love Sex Bomb. Name one song, Tommy.
The Garbage Man.
Damn, it's the only song I can name. I was going to say I got number 2. Who's got number 3? You fucked me. You fucked me, pal. Who's got number 2? It's the only one I knew. It's the only one any of us knew. All right, fine. But that does play a lot in the manga. They fight a lot of different other bands. It's kind of a fun comic book if no one's ever read it. Comic manga if no one's ever read it. I love the movie. Did you guys like the movie?
Yeah, loved it.
And the TV series.
I'm sorry, you said the TV series?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes of it, and I kind of fell out of love with it. Maybe I should give it another shot.
Yeah.
Did you guys make it all the way through?
I forgot about it.
I don't remember.
See, that was
No,
the
I
thing.
saw
I
the
watched
first
a couple
couple
episodes,
episodes.
I liked it, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's good. I like
All
it.
right, I'll go back to it. Who's got the next one? Anybody?
Why don't you go? Tom.
Oh, me. Okay, I'll go. Lia Cheney. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from the X-Men comics.
Yep.
The greatest
She's an interstellar rock star. She has the remind me if I'm wrong. I believe her mutant ability is teleportation over vast areas.
Yes.
Doesn't
Like
have
she
to
can
be
teleport
vast.
all the way across the universe and beyond.
She can teleport very far. Yeah. Or very close.
Can she teleport very close? I always thought that was one of the restrictions of her power.
She's not quick. It's not like Nightcrawler teleportation. It's more like teleport. So it's not exactly a combat.
It's more of like, let's go to combat.
Yeah. She's an elevator with 2 buttons, here and there.
If anyone's trying to figure out what she looks like, if they haven't seen her before, I always thought she looked a lot like the leader of the Morlocks, just cleaned up a little bit. What was her name?
Callisto?
Yeah.
Callisto?
I always thought those designs were kind of similar.
Isn't Lia Cheney supposed to be the bad guy in the upcoming Deadpool Wolverine movie?
Really?
Did I have a fever dream?
I think you had a
might have
fever
a
dream.
fever dream.
No idea.
I don't know. If only there was an interweb that would tell us.
I mean,
We
you
can
possibly
look that
had
up,
the
absolutely.
fever for the flavor of a Pringle.
I definitely have that.
It would be a weird villain because she's usually not a villain. She's been at loggerheads, but not really a villain. I always liked her look. I like the look of her band when they're on stage. She fought Mojo a bunch of times because Mojo, of course, wants to get her signed to a deal that makes her only play in Mojo World. Typical Mojo craziness. Just a cool looking band, and I do like her design.
I mean, in the most recent trailer, Mike, they show someone who could be the villain, but there's definitely a multiversal aspect to everything going on. So, yeah.
It's Cassandra Nova. Excuse me. I was definitely having a fever dream.
Hey, we all like a nice fever dream now and again.
Yeah. Speaking of fever dreams, that brings me to my choice, and that is going to be Allison Blair, aka Dazzler. And I gotta say, for a character that was created post-disco for the disco craze. She is amazeballs. She has been a valuable member of the X-Men for a lot of years. She had a comic that lasted like 20 or 30 issues. She's got a lot of staying power. And I was this many days old when I found out that the reason I thought Dazzler was a Galactus of Herald is because there's a what if comic that is what if Dazzler was a Herald of Galactus, and I read it as a kid and I just thought it was canon. So I've always thought that Dazzler had been a Galactus Herald.
And you convinced us all of this fact, actually.
I have convinced you all of it. I was looking for it, and I found the cover of it, and I was like, oh, that's a what if comic. Oh, Jesus.
Well, you got fooled, and you fooled all of us, because we thought for some reason...
That's called a Dazzler effect.
The Dazzler effect, like the Mandela effect.
You gaslighted us all, Mike.
I didn't do it. Marvel Comics did it.
The one thing that always bothered me about that is, like, how is she transferring sound into light in space?
Cosmic power.
Cosmic powers, of course.
I don't know. How do people in space talk to each other? It's always happening. You see it all the time.
At least in Invincible, Alan can only talk to one person at a time, and he has to relay his telepathy between people, which I always find funny. Because he's grifting a little bit when he makes the translation.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just leaves you there, Josh.
Yeah, I didn't really have anything for this. So I'm going to go with Hypno Hustler.
Sure, Hypno Hustler.
We talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous. He's on the disco trip. And yeah. Hypno Hustler.
If you ever saw him, you'd be a big fan.
It's true.
That made me laugh. Hypno Hustler is one of those characters where we always say, why did you have to rob anybody? You were amazingly popular. You were selling out arenas and then hypnotizing everyone and picking their pockets.
Yeah, why don't you just sell merch?
Sell merch. I will give you my money if I go to your concert. I can't, like Allie the Piper, she would have lost money if she just picked my pocket, because I pulled out my ATM card and I went nuts at her concert.
Yeah.
So yeah, you lost money there, pal. Just sell the merch.
Well, we were very Marvel heavy, but we should also throw one out to our producer, Diane, who would say the Great Frog.
I alluded to that at the very beginning of this. Our producer, Diane, loves the Great Frog because, of course, she's a huge fan of
Roy Harper.
Roy Harper, sorry.
Speedy.
Had a little mind fart there.
Great Frog not only appeared in DC, but also appeared in Marvel Comics.
That's right. What was that crossover? Or was this another
Somebody
one
was wearing the T-shirt, right? Someone was wearing the concert shirt for it?
Spidey was going on a date with MJ to a Great Frog concert at Central Park.
Nice.
So it wasn't a literal crossover, but it was a crossover. Yeah.
It was a nod and a wink.
Oh, yeah. It was the writers going, hey, that'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Well, we have a good time. Right? We can get around.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that does it for our top four. I'm sure there are a couple of honorable mentions out there. We could easily say...
yeah, just throw them down in the comments. Right down there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, put them in the comments.
Hit the like and subscribe.
Whatever else we're supposed to say.
And if something pops up over here, YouTube did that. We don't do that. But if it popped up over here, just ignore it.
And thank you for the Longbox Guys. If you want to see or hear from more of us, you can go listen to our podcast by going to almost anywhere with our podcast. We like Podbeam and iTunes, of course, but just go the Longbox Guys. We have about 600 episodes. Something like that.
Something like that.
If you count our Patreon, yes.
We got our
we have-
Patreon. And speaking of the Patreon, you can also go to our Patreon page, the Longbox Guys / / Patreon, something like that. And for just $1 a month.
What?
I know. For the price that they pay to make the character Night Thrasher, you too can have an extra podcast every single week of us talking about something ridiculous. And Brains and Games is actually the name of that podcast. And all the money does go to the Elizabeth Peabody House, where we have fed. How many people did we feed last week, Tommy?
About 250.
250. The money
Families.
goes to that. It's not all us.
Yeah, that's
but
not all.
we do throw our money in every single week, and we're happy to do it. You said 200 plus this week, huh?
Yeah, about 250.
250 plus. Wow, we are killing it. All right, and so that about does it. Any last words, guys?
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.